See here. Yo, what's up, dudes? Yo, bro, it's Aman. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, been a while, been a while. I see you in the school ambassador group crushing, so I got the notification that you're running
Uh-huh.
a call, and I thought I have to see this guy now.
Oh, sick, man. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, how's stuff been going on your side?
Uh, it's going decent, so we're still scaling that company, StudentAthlete.ai. We had our
Yeah,
best month, and after that, it's like dropped off in terms of revenue, but
yeah,
we're still like making progress in terms of like we're getting more reach, we're getting more phone numbers of coaches, which is going to help us with our success rate, which is like 100%. Like if you buy with us, you will basically get the result. So it's yeah, the revenues dropped, but we're still moving forward. We just got to stick to it, and
mhm,
sometimes things take longer than you expect them to, but it's just one of
yeah.
those things.
Amazing, man. Dude, that's awesome. So it's progress. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Progress always takes time, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Cool. All right. Love that. Thank you for sharing. So as people are coming in, for those of you that are already here, I want to show you something super cool. So remember that who here was on the call last time when we were in front of the pyramid? Handful, Mindy.
Yeah.
I think Michelle, you were there, right? Mo, you were there too. All right, cool. I want to show you guys something also pretty sweet. It's my first time here. Let's see if I don't lose connection. Yeah. Welcome to the Coliseum.
What the fuck?
How did you score a place across the street from the Coliseum? That's what I want to know.
That credit to Tony. He found the spot, man. And we haven't even gone over to see it. The first time I saw it was just a couple of hours ago when we were unpacking our stuff. And now we're at a cafe right next door. Oops, sorry about that. Having this call. Look at how beautiful this is. Holy shit. I'm in Rome, dude. This is wild. I've never been here before. This is so cool. So, but as things usually go, it's always important to take care of the team and culture stuff before you get to the adventure stuff, because that's what brings me here, anyways, right? So, as much as I'm excited to go run around over there, we got to have this talk today first before we get out there. Oh, Josh, you just missed out. All right, you'll see the recording. Oh, well. Uh, all right. So
So
today we're gonna. Sorry, someone have a question?
sorry, mate. I'm late.
Yeah. What the hell, Josh?
Oh
Okay.
man, sorry, mate. It slipped me through my alarm.
All good, dude. Here, okay, fine. I'll show you really quick, but then we got to get started. No more late people. Check it out. We're in Rome. Can you see it? Well, I hope you did.
Yeah, that's sick.
All right, excellent. So, um, one of the things I want to show you guys that for is because I don't know how many of you travel or are looking forward to traveling. I think traveling is one of the most fantastic things that the world has to offer at this day and age. I think I mention that all the time. And it absolutely would not be possible without being able to score stuff like the star or just do really well on school. And like it's crazy. I'm sure this is the same with everyone. Once you start understanding why things are happening, especially within your business, like you start seeing it. And usually it's in retrospect, like, oh, I was nervous about doing the thing, but then I did the thing and it makes sense why that thing is working. Once you start seeing that thing with your business and it starts happening over and over and over, stuff just changes around you immediately. You just start manifesting that stuff. And I hear this sort of story all the time. So you could talk about it esoterically, you could talk about it practically. Both are right. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Um, can you send me are these the questions on WhatsApp? Okay, cool. We're gonna get started with a couple of things here. I know Mo and Michelle, we're gonna check in with you guys, right? In a second. I wanna go over I'm gonna give you guys a list of a few things, and then I'm gonna give you one or two major nuggets to take away for your culture. Because remember, all these conversations are about how to get the star, how to keep the star. Because at the end of the day, I think most of us can agree that when you have like that's the best indicator that school currently has for having a really healthy, wild, fun community. So That should be everyone's goal. Before the rockets, before the crown, whatever you end up doing, get that star, because that means you're learning something about how to interact with people. That's what's the most important part of community, way more than scoring money. Okay, so let me go and pull this up. Where are the questions on this guy? Nils, you're here, right? Nils?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
here.
Perfect. Can you give me your biggest question, please, from the call earlier? I'd love to dive into it. All of them.
Like also
The-
rather general ones or specific ones? Because maybe
Well,
for everyone who does not know, I'm kind of new to this community, and I'm trying to elaborate if we can use this school and Goosify to build a community for someone who has already quite a big reach. And now we're preparing like the presentation for it, and Goosify is so nice and help us with it. And we have some questions that are quite crucial for building that community or for persuading the person. And I think the most important one, let me quickly open my notes, is
There was
the
the brand
brand
quality one.
quality.
That seemed to
Exactly.
me to be quite significant. Okay, so nice job introducing yourself at the beginning too. You're on top of it. Okay, so explain the question so everyone can understand, and then let's start with that.
Yeah, everything that guy is doing, his name is Karim Samuels. He's a movement coach from Berlin, but with international reach. We just did a workshop tour in Europe, and I think that he is fearing to lose some kind of his reputation as a brand when he's moving to like a third-party tool to build a community. So his idea would rather be build his own app, do anything that integrates seamlessly also from the brand identity, look and feel kind of way. I mean, I don't personally see it as that relevant, because I think there are so many benefits that are so much more relevant in school than having like a fitting UI. But I would still be interested in how could we manage to accentuate the benefits that we have instead of focusing on brand quality.
Okay, awesome. So I hope everyone understands that bit. I imagine you're referencing mostly the community element of like inside jokes or goofy things. How does that not detract from the professionalism? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Has
And
anyone
also
else
being like
ever-
on a separate platform as well, not like being on your own platform only, right?
All right, cool. Has anyone else had either of these problems, like the culture side and the technical side? Why don't I just have like my own app for everything? And why, if I'm trying to make sales, am I making jokes? Right? Does anyone have had those two questions?
I have my own website, and the reason I did not do it on my own website is because school is so much easier and simple. It doesn't detract from it as long as you incorporate it into your site.
Cool, love that. Yeah, Dennis just burned the boats and jumped in. I remember hearing all about that. Anyone else, like, have you faced that or had to make a decision about it? Diana?
I haven't faced it. I even decided not to have my website anymore. Haven't used that for ages, have to say so, and I'm not willing to use it anymore. So I would say it's always like, what is the website for? What is the presence for? And what is the purpose you want to use it for? And for me, going to school was a very logical step, because a massive part of my audience is either already used to it, and it makes the whole process very easy for me because the platform is simple. So when I was joining the very first program hosted on school, it was like okay, yeah, kind of like baby problems platform wise. So I was very curious about looking into other models and other services. And then I had a program on Circle, and it was like, so school, I'm coming. Gosh, is this other thing bad? So, and just like from regarding familiarity or not, it's like, it's not Facebook since ages. It's so foreign to me. It's Instagram is nice, but not connecting. It's like it's for consuming things. So how I would see and every service that I purchased afterwards, that is hosted on a individual app, I figured out I'm not using it. So I do have it. It's like, I would say it's like payment with Apple Pay or Google Pay on your phone versus pulling out the card. Maybe that's a good comparison. And if
I
you
like that one.
if you embody that experience, like, oh, I need to have that thing ready, I need to update another app, then it's just like I think the credit card picture works pretty well. So you have kind of the thing in a place, it's kind of convenient, it's only using what you asked it to use, and you get a lot of clutter removed. And if you have people who are not active on school but just in your place, so for me, and who knows me a little, I do have a background in product user experience, customer experience. It took me a while to figure out there are other places. It's so less disturbing that, oh, there are other places, was actually not even in the picture. So just to share that early memory. And probably you, Niels, and we met in Berlin, you just know that there are so many other places because you have been in that place. You saw there are so many other people. So, and using that, yes, it's not much what you can do brand-wise, but you can do hell of a lot of, you work with your tonality, how you work with the imagery, how you frame the whole thing is speaking volumes about who you are as a community creator or owner. There are a lot of possibilities, and as every kind of early stage service, you just need to think a little harder how to make it really yours. And there is a lot of beauty in it because it makes you actually think.
Yeah, big time. I love
Thank you
that.
so much for sharing, Dana. And I totally agree on many of it. And I mean, I'm actually part of your community as well. And this is why I'm gaining some of my early experiences and can relate to really a lot that you were saying. And this made it very clear for me that it's not about how it's going to look in the end. It's about how it feels to interact with it. And is it fun and easy to interact with it or not so much? And the community or the crowd behind the business idea is already quite big. So if it's like about our first 10, model citizen, we would have easy a list of 50 people that we could pick from, because there are so many people already really into it and committed and, working for us also for free, scouting locations, helping organize events and so on. So I think I already shared with Goosify before, but maybe it's already relevant for this crowd. I think our mistake that we would do at KSM would be, we would think we need to have it all planned out before we even start with it. Have like the program, the classroom, everything perfect. And I also went through the School 101. It was so obvious, and also from what people were sharing in Berlin IRL, or also Goosify, this is like the biggest beginner mistake, because you need this content dance of, you don't want to push to your community, but you want to pull what works and what not so much.
Right. Yeah, very well said, man. There are so many of these little hidden nuggets along the way that make it extremely challenging to know without having done it yourself, that the stuff that seems obvious may actually end up hurting you in the long run. Does anyone else have a point they'd like to contribute to those two before I chime in?
So yeah, I actually kind of agree and disagree. What most people think, I need to have everything ready. What a lot of other people think, I don't need to have anything. What I truly believe is, you really need to set your intentions clear to start with. That makes a lot of difference. Just go in a space. So, and it depends pretty much also, like, if it's a hobby space, if you just want to see and look how it turns out. But if you already have a community, if you already have a space, you really want to set your intentions right for that new space to create. And intention doesn't mean it's there. Intention is that play on, this is how I want to have it. This is how I expect it will be perceived. And then you do your first little experiments, and you dive into, is actually working what I was assuming or not. And then you adjust with slightly little things on the way. So Goose knows my community from the very start. I dare say, me being a little strategic, I planned out a lot of things very intentionally and started with little. Yet, yet I always kept the openness to, is there more? Is there something that I haven't considered first? And is it still aligning what I'm doing? Am I still attracting that kind of person who seems to be right for me? And also willing to adjust, like, who can I actually serve best? And I give a simple example, maybe that's illustrating. So my core thing was like, hey, I'm giving even away free hot seat coaching, and that is providing hell of a lot of value. And normally it would be really expensive to get something. And I figured out people are a little bit scared of it. So, and whatever I did as an invitation was, what is this about? So that was like a play on, okay, then asking the community, do you actually really want to have that or not? And then people who did it, like, oh, it's so valuable, and I absolutely would come. But and others, tell me a little bit more about it, so I can see what the people see in it, or what other people see in it. That was one learning aspect. And the other learning aspect that I really use for the freemium thing is, even so, I'm absolutely clear a lot of things grow better in conversations and not in a massive environment, but in a safe space with a few, like a little crowd wisdom and so on. Many people told me, yeah, but actually I would love to have a little bit more one-on-one with you. Like, if I can have you for my own, I really, like, I love your community, but like really working with you would need to be you. And so I decided, okay, I'd probably make a very limited VIP offer with very limited seats that actually include a one-on-one, even if that was not my initial intention. But that is, and then I need to balance out like how much I'm willing to give out of that. How can I put it into the value ladder and make it attractive and make it even more attractive for the people who don't take that offer? All those considerations, but it was literally listening to some conversations like, I really want to keep that a little bit more to myself, but I really, really want to work with you. And those people also wouldn't be my executive coaching clients, what would be an absolutely different pricing. Not yet, maybe they grow into it. But it's just like that, making assumptions, setting the direction. Maybe that is also an important word. It's setting the direction you really want to go, and then adjust maybe with the flow. I know.
Cool. Thank you, Diana. Love that. To your point, Nils, I'll share a little bit about why the school platform and how uncomfortable it would usually feel to be, especially if you're used to building your own thing. I mean, many of us can speak from our own personal experience here that school is one of those, like, it feels like I'm doing someone else's thing, right? When you're first stepping into it, that was the feeling that I had. And that was why I didn't sign up for it at the beginning. I was like, yeah, fuck this platform. I'm going to try some of the others, see if I can custom tailor it. And the problem is, as you find when you're usually doing sales in general, is you cannot phrase something at level 3 or level 4 to someone who's at the level 1 stage, because they don't know what they don't know. And that's why they're hiring you, to guide them to the place that they don't know. So if you're trying to build a community, 3 years from now, you will understand everything so much cleaner and clearer than for you to just started. And as I slowly made my way through these platforms that held all the features that I thought I wanted, and then finally got to school, I realized that what I actually needed was just like everyone here has mentioned simple, just the simple shit that's there. And it was largely because I just didn't know what and I had to sort of figure that part out. So I imagine a lot of people are having that same experience on here, where you just go through and you're like, oh, wow, I'm having a lot of success and progress just from being present here, not necessarily from trying to orchestrate something on your own. You almost give it the trust that you'll figure it out. To your other point, we'll probably try and wrap this in a little bit later, because I know you mentioned most of it here on the call. This is what I've joined about the professionalism. That's a big part of culture, so we'll dive into that in just a moment here. But Nils, do you have any response to that, or did that make sense?
No, that makes all the sense. It's very insightful and helpful for me. Thank you.
It's beautiful, love it. Yeah, school was probably the 5th platform or 6th platform I joined, and 2 months later, boom, school goes. It's cool, man. It just works. Plus, I don't know if you guys have seen the engagements on there. the last one that I had seen, and this is really important, the last one that I had seen, remember I'm always talking about how Skool is a community platform that happens to have business features as opposed to something like WAP, for example, which is a business platform that happens to have community features. So it's a very different thing. Very, very different thing. So you begin to see quite quickly why these make sense. And I'll try and find the metric to show everyone here. Please remind me. Everyone will have some homework to take away from all this, and this will be part of my homework. There is a sheet. It shows the data points of engagement, I believe, the number of people that have visited each site, and it shows our Skool's five quote competitors. Although if you ask me, like if you actually notice, I actually don't think they're really competitors. They look like a similar industry. So if you line them all up, if like Mighty Networks and the rest of them, and you take all of their engagement combined, and then you multiply that times 5, that's what Skool gets. So Skool gets on average 25 times, the average competitor in the lead there. It's crazy. I'll get the document so I can show you. This was last year, not even to speak of what's going on now. But this was a document that I saw. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll consider it. That my buddy Navas was showing me, and he now works for Skool. So it's funny how these things work. Okay, fabulous. I think that's a great way for us to start on this is, Nils is a great example. Like he's been looking for a place, he and Hannah have been looking for a place to like house this thing that they've been trying to build for a while. And Nils, could you please just share really quickly, what's one thing, because like you seem committed to this like community concept idea, and I love that. And we hung out for a couple of days, and that was awesome. But what was like, why did you feel like this was home versus anything else?
You mean rather like the Skool platform or like the Goosify context?
No, I think the Skool platform. I mean, you could say the Goosify one too, but I think it's because it's fun. It's up to you.
For Skool, I would say, or I can start the other way around because I joined through my wife Hannah in the Goosify URL, and what I really was interested in is that everybody was obviously using the same platform quite successfully. So they have something in common, which is the platform, and I was able to identify little things more, also like especially about energy and how you handle humans, which I really like. Then I looked a little bit more into the platform because I had no idea how Skool actually works. People were showing their business case. It was super interesting. Also quite impressive what kind of progress you can make in what period of time. And then I started to interact with Skool as a platform and also with the community, Goosify and Diana's community, building my own just to try out how you can set everything up. And I have a background in IT consultancy. So even or implementation, applicant management and re-engineering of IT systems is basically what I do as a living for 5 years. And I know the customer side and also the consultancy side. So I would say that I'm good at pretty quickly identifying what works good on the platform and what not so much. And I have to say, Skool made it very, very easy to like it. And I'm not even speaking about the energy within the groups. I just mean basically how to use the platform, how is it structured. So to make it short, to develop an app yourself that works that well would be pretty pricey. Then I heard also in the Skool 101, people were saying, you have 24/7 support and their average response time is 30 minutes. Give me a consultancy or a partner that does that. And if they do, this is going to be hell a lot of money that you have to pay for that service. Everything is documented in KBAs, non-page articles. That's at least how they call it SAP. So written documentation. You can find pretty much everything and how it works on Skool in the official documentation. So the barrier for a professional, for an admin to, administrate that platform seems so easy. Then creating a course, editing a post, whatever, also super efficient and easy. So I think this is what is very, very valuable. And I have not even looked into the competition. So it's interesting that Goose and Diana both shared that you looked into other competitors and that you don't like it so much, blah, blah. For me, it's a little bit different. I don't really have to look into the competition because I'm pretty sure it's going to be very, very hard to even compete on the technical software side. And you don't even have all this network and connection that we have on top in a way that you get just by, being part of this as well. And experiencing that, I think, is like the highest value. because what you can get as knowledge and experience and insights from people who are actively using is like the highest worth for me. And yeah, it feels natural, it feels real from the energy side. So that's why I'm being very committed, because of course we really want to make this work, but not to make like 10K or 100K a month. That would be a nice side benefit, but because I can really see that our community is lacking this, what I experienced initially, be it school, be it Goosify, be it Unfair Advantage. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say.
Wonderfully said. That's beautiful. Okay, so I really appreciate you sharing that out loud, because a lot of us have been here for a period of time, like in the school space, and there's often times that any of us, all of us, will find lull in our business. And it's always important to, for me, this has always been really helpful, to make sure that you have fresh eyes that you're sort of almost like re-experiencing life with. Like, for example, I don't love LA, but when I go back and I'm showing a friend LA, I sometimes find new parts of LA that I didn't know were there, and I get to kind of re-experience that. And so in the same way, your enthusiasm is the same thing that makes me on school be like, oh yeah, I really do have a second minute, you know? Like there's so many things that just work here. And so my problems are a completely different level. It's not on this foundational baseline. And I think a lot of us can sort of show some gratitude to that. So cool. Thank you very much for sharing that note. Okay, so next up, I want to jump to Michelle and Mo. So I think a lot of us saw that call last time. Did anyone not see that call? Well, if you didn't see it, it was beautiful. We worked on Michelle's, who had some technical questions. We worked on Mo's, which had some emotional questions, and we just like had one big digital cry hug. It was fucking awesome. So, which of you would like to share first? And one last thing I will add is, as soon as the two of you are done sharing, I would love to then open up to those of you that are newer to the group, so that we can get an opportunity for you to share who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, right? And then we just try and tackle like one or two things that are somewhere on your near-to-do roadmap. And then at the end, I'll have a bit of homework to give you guys on the surprise that I hope will help. All right, take it away, Michelle. No.
Do you want to go, Michelle, or should I?
Up to you. You can go first if you'd like.
I think I'll go first this time so that I can cry and then compose myself, and then you can go. So
Nothing beats a good cry.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. I changed the name back to You Got This Mama, because that just felt right. This is what I've got so far. Everything's just so much more light. I've just got the 2 wins there, and then someone helped me, a really good video guy, his name's Steve. He helped me create a VSL that's very me and doesn't look like I'm reading off the screen, because I'm not. So I have that. And then I worked on this as well, and it maybe is a little too long now, but I think it's good. I'm feeling a lot better about everything and more confident. And I don't know what else to say.
What do you feel like was the major block that you started identifying that's taking you to this point? Because that might help us figure out what the next one is.
Well, I think a major block for me was everyone else knows the right answer, and I don't. And so I was doing whatever anyone else told me, and I've still done some of that, but I also have more of myself in it, because no one can be me better than me. And so I've followed guidance, but I haven't just stated word for word everything that I have been told.
That's pretty awesome. So if you look at that, what would you say is going to be your next unlock with where you're going? Because this looks fucking great.
Probably figuring out the best way to tell other people that I know who I am now and that I have something that will help. And so I'm going to start making content on YouTube, not YouTube. Well, yes, YouTube, but Instagram again. And just, I really want to help more people for free. And the hard thing with that is finding people and saying the right thing that they actually want me to do for them for free. Because if I say, I will organize your systems, then as we already talked about, that's just like, nobody knows what that means. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I was thinking I could start with like building a funnel for someone or setting up an automation for someone or something like that. So if anyone on this call wants me to set up an automation for them, here I am.
Beautiful. That's a great place to start. So something that I go on about all the time, and I mean, I think many of us deep down know it, like some of the best opportunities you have to learn are when you're teaching. And so if you're unsure what comes up next, it's kind of like a little reset button on your modem or something like that. It just miraculously makes stuff start working. It just gives stuff away for free. Like spend time doing a service, or you can also include some element of education into it. And for those two, especially if you do it for free, you end up learning a bit more about yourself. Now, I always recommend wrapping that into something, but if you're overcomplicating the system, you don't necessarily have to focus on that. What I mean is everyone here, I believe, is familiar at this point with the beta client program that we teach here. Hopefully everyone is. So, and ask me questions if you're not. But if you're trying to wrap that in, it's, for me, like if you could kill 20 birds with one stone, right? That is the goal. And you could actually do, maybe not 20, but you could do like 3 or 4 birds in this case. And you take Mo's strategy of like, okay, I'm gonna discover a little bit more about who I am, what I'm good at by doing it, right? Building the plan as you go. And if you're able to loop that in with also getting testimonials, and oh great, Marina asked. Okay, so I'll go over it very quickly. I'll give you an example of a 7-day challenge or a 7-day program. You call it for yourself a beta client program, but you would name it publicly whatever you wanted to. It's a 7-day competition. Let's say Mo's running it. She's like the You Got It Mama program, right? It's 7 days. You're gonna meet for an hour every day for 7 days. And day 1, you come in. The only thing you prepare for the entire program is a activation point, which is like that's just a fancy way of saying one client win. So hers might be like, okay, we're gonna make LinkedIn profiles today if it's like some career-based thing. And that's their win. They created something that is tangible that they can walk away from that was free. And then there's 6 more days, right? So now those 6 days, 5 of them are spent all together going over the problems that they're having on the call. And everyone else is like, oh shit, I thought it was alone. They have the problem too? Like you're making community already. It's happening like that. Then on the last day is where you collect the testimonials. You don't say shit about testimonials. You just ask people how it went, what they loved, what was missing, what they're grateful for, like what's changed in their lives, like these kinds of things. Make them short and make sure no one else is interrupting during that time. And just make sure you're recording the calls, right? So if you recorded all of the calls, which you should have been doing, if you've been recording all of the calls up until this point, you should, like Mo, have gotten practice teaching. You should have testimonials from the end of the adventure. You should have 7 different videos that you can use as a course to give away or sell later. I usually recommend giving them away. And now you've got like way more than most people have ever had when rolling out their first community. That is like, that should give you so much clarity that It's nobody's business. It's incredible. But you have to follow it like to the T. You can't shortcut any of those steps. And if you do that, which it sounds like Mo is prepared to be able to do that, you take the course creation, testimonial gathering, you learning how to teach process down from months or years to 1 week. That is probably the biggest thing I can give any beginner is do that, and you can thank me later. Send me like a cool picture. Drop me a picture of a cute animal or something like that. That makes me feel very cool. Louis says, where can I find Mo's beta test? Mo, what would you say to that? I don't know what he's asking. You tell me.
I don't know what he's asking either, but you can always just message me and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool. I would love, Mo, for you to make a post after this call to say, hey, is someone having a hard time with automations? I'm going to offer it for free. You have my blessing to jump in there and be like, what's up, bitches? I'm going to make your life easier. That would be great. You don't have to say bitches, but I encourage it, of course. So from that, I think I'm going to give you one big homework assignment, okay? Because you can't forget this part, especially, and I know the state you're in right now reminds me of me and so many others. When you're like focusing on how you're going to deliver and make sure you get results for people, you can forget the fun stuff. And you don't want to, because you don't want to be earning goodwill at the expense of community and gaining community at the expense of goodwill, right? Or sales at the expense of goodwill. So the way that you balance that is making sure you have both in check while you're doing it together. That's my best advice there. I would recommend coming up with, and I know this might feel a little forced, but this is a great place to start. 1 or 2 like inside jokes. What's a really funny inside joke that you would love to have circulate, or you already have with like a couple of people in the community? And I would love for you to share. That's actually going to be the homework at the end of this call for everybody. You need to share one inside joke that you have or that you're going to make. And the ironic part is shared inside jokes kind of makes them not funny, but I think we're so meta here that it might work. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. What do you think?
It sounds great. I already have some ideas.
Beautiful. Then that's going to be really helpful. Okay. Is that generally helpful for what your next step will be? Because it sounds like it's a little bit more emotional in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Because I've just wondered how I could find the right people to help, and packaging it that way, I think is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. We may jump back in at some point because I know this is a really cool thing for people to have the opportunity to do. So I might consider having a few things that maybe inviting people to. We'll see how this goes, and then I might invite people like, hey, do you have something free that you want to give members in the community to practice, to learn how to do things yourself for your community, and to see how that goes. So Mo, you'll be the test. Please let me know how it goes.
Okay, sounds good.
Amazing. All right, cool. Let me answer Rosita's question here. How do I find an inside joke? I love this question. This is great. I remember there's these guys in Thailand. They were at one of the school games events in Las Vegas, and they were so cute and like bite-sized. They're so friendly, and they had won the school game. And they were like trying to shake Alex's hand. It was just like the size difference was just hilarious. You guys are awesome. So one of the things that they were there because they had won the school game. They had gotten all kinds of people onto the platform, and had made, I don't know, 25K that month, something like that. No, more, 45K, something like that. And they came over to me just like absolutely flabbergasted. They said, "How do you make community fun?" Like, they had never even thought about it before. And so they're looking at my stuff literally like it was like you're on Mars. And it was fascinating trying to explain how to have fun to people, right? It was like what a world to be in where someone has forgotten or at least has overlooked that part. Like it should be, to me, it should be so fundamental, right? So it was really fun. So I want to ask you all, before we jump to the show, what is one way that you could develop an inside joke? Anyone?
Well, Josh
We'll
did
start calling.
emojis. Emojis is a good one. he's a Kiwi, so he just says "we on" the whole time. And then because the on has this freaking logo, we just have that key padded onto our. And so now everyone in the community just goes "we on," and that's like just a fun one.
Yeah, that's a great one. I've seen that one before too. Yeah, I hate it for dark mode because I just see a bunch of like kind of black smudges, and I'm like, oh wait, it's the "we on" thing. I know that thing, and so I know it even though I can't read it, which being inside joke. So I've identified, right? And this is what you're doing. It basically you're understanding something through subtext alone is the point. That's essentially what an inside joke would be. So if I tell you, go pick up that orange, right? And you're like, you don't know what I'm talking about. The guy next to you starts laughing. Boom, something's going on there, right? It's an inside joke. So we've got another couple of suggestions. "We on" is a great example.
So I had, they just happened by accident, right? Inside jokes. So I was just talking in another group that my kids are so embarrassed when I go onto Instagram. I can't figure Instagram out. That's some other type of world in there. But they're like, "Mum, you can't keep making up hashtags." And I'm like, well, everyone does it. And they're saying, no, you have to do it the way everyone else does it. So I'm like, so hashtag shit, I got a spot on my nose isn't a proper hashtag then? And now in that other group, that's the inside joke when it comes to me being an idiot on Insta is hashtag I've got a spot on my nose. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just like only a few people know about it.
That's right. That is a great example. I love that too because it kind of plays on this whole bit of like, I don't know if this is everyone else. This is certainly my experience. Children can be the shittiest, just the worst. They come up with these versions of like, this is how things should be, like someone told them. And so they're going to enforce these little rules that have kind of like popped up. And the older you get and the more life you experience, the more you realize like it's actually breaking all the rules or bending them at the very least that ends up making all that fun stuff in the middle. So I love that. That's such a great example. And Rosita chimed in immediately and went, yeah, like, yeah. And yeah, exactly. There you go. Quiz. Awesome addition. That's exactly right. All right. Well, give me one more example here.
I think I got one. It's like the vulgar version of the let them theory. It's just like, fuck them. Like, you know what? Like, people are going to judge you. Fuck them. People are going to like say some stuff you don't want to hear. Fuck them. Like that. And it's, I think it's like a big one that I'm kind of known for because it's just like, let it roll off your shoulder. Another one is like, bring out your inner Rebecca. I don't know if you guys have seen Ted Lasso, but that big, like, oh, like the roar she does before she like needs that, the confidence she needs to like tell someone off or hold her boundaries. I think those both kind of go hand in hand, but those are my two.
Dude, okay, okay, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to have happen. I didn't want to say anything about it, but I want to demonstrate it. Artem, get ready to talk here in a second. So Gabby just pointed to Ted Lasso, right? I've never seen it before, but I know of Rebecca. And why do I know of Rebecca? Because when I was in Russia, Artem wouldn't stop fucking telling me about Ted Lasso. And so immediately when I saw him chiming in with emojis, I'm like, okay, there we go. Now you just made an inside joke that made 2 connection points. Artem, talk to them.
Yeah, so I started giving a lot of examples of Ted Lasso, and that's how Gus remembers that.
Love it. Ted Lasso's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why is it that you guys like that show so?
What?
It's just so
Why-
freeing. Like he's just
I
so like
asked why.
carefree and having so much fun. Like, you know, it's like, oh, we probably shouldn't do that. No, you should do that. Live, like go live. Like he's just so like delusionally positive, and people might hate him for that, but I love it because there's so much to be negative about, but there's so much to be positive about, and it's just contagious. Like people love that energy, and yeah, that's what I think at least.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally get that. Artem, why do you like that show?
I don't know. Another reason why I like that show is because I like using GIFs. So I basically type in Ted Lasso all the time, and I just use GIFs of Ted Lasso. And this is like an inside joke in my community.
That's right. You hear that? It looks like they want to see those gifts.
I mean, you can just type in Ted Lasso on school
I
and see a
think
list of them. They're all cool.
I think the job here for you now, Artem, you've already opened the box. You're gonna make a post after this thing, and you're gonna post a bunch of your favorite Ted Lasso gifts, and we'll tell you if we approve or if they're dog shit.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
excellent, perfect. So I hope you guys are starting to see here what changed in that environment. We're just gonna analyze the last 3 bits of feedback that we got there. We were talking about hashtags, right? We were talking about Ted Lasso, and we were talking about "we on" catchphrase, right? In all of those things, what we were doing that was common between them, you could arguably say, well, actually, let me just ask really quick. Let me see if someone's bold enough to dare call that one out. There we go. Nice contribution. Let me ask a couple people here. I would love to hear from Karen Mack, then Lou. Why was that? How were we able to put together these random, like, best example, Gabby and Artem? They just bonded over Ted Lasso. What can we say was the reason why that happened? What should we blame?
Wow, the hot seat. And you're asking me a question that I would normally quickly message my kids because they're the ones that explain things to me. This is not answering your question, but my thoughts as we've been having this conversation is that it would be good to look for these inside jokes as they come up. I mean, in my life, when I've become aware that something's important, and then I open myself up to seeing them. Otherwise, something like an inside joke, you might think it's not important, or it's too silly, or what if the new people don't get it? But none of that really matters. It's a way to connect with people and to draw them in and have them want to be part of your group. Like, I'm just here because I watched that interview and I loved Michelle and Mo, and I'm like, this came up, and like I saw, oh, there's a call, and then it said anybody can join. So I'm like, okay, I'm there. I'm going to join. I don't really even know why, but I'm there because I know I'm going to get something out of it. So sorry, I didn't really answer your question, but.
No, you absolutely answered my question. It's actually in there that I think the answer lies. That was a perfect share. Thank you very much, Karen. Louis, why are these connections happening in this window right now?
I think an inside joke is cool to connect with somebody because you're in on a joke or something, an experience that nobody else knows about, and you guys both know it, and it's just something to connect. It's kind of like camaraderie, but on a comedic, fun, joking level. So that's my take.
Beautiful. Very well said. And nice and short and to the point. Love that. So what's cool about this is I'm sure a lot of us can reflect on it. Nothing to me is funnier than when I'm not supposed to be laughing. that is when shit, like, it gets amplified, right? So what is that? I mean, it's something that I think we can all relate with. But what is that characteristic? It's a really good question there. The point that I want to bring to our attention here, though, about, and I'm really going to hit home on the Gabby and the Artem connection here with Ted Lasso, is you've got to be willing to be vulnerable. That's the big one. You got to be willing to share something about yourself that could be criticized because it stands out. And if you're willing to do that, you give yourself the opportunity for connection and then therefore community. So certainly as a community leader, if you want people to be acting a certain way, it's your job to do it pretty much, right? Because they're going to follow your lead. So it's always interesting to make sure that, wow, that's awesome, Gabby. I love that. Yeah, so that's the one, vulnerable, open. Have that stuff with you. So awesome. I hope that's a massive takeaway for everyone here. I'm going to keep reminding all of you about it because it's very easy to slide out of that. But don't forget, vulnerability, super important, even not on school, just with the people that are closest to you. Okay. Good. Michelle, Let's do it, man.
Yeah, so real quick, actually, I want to do a big shout out to Karen Mack because we connected in another group. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. And I forget how, but we were talking in the comments in there. And she was like, wait, aren't you the girl that was in that Goosify video? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she's like, oh my gosh. And we both connected over loving Goosify. So it was just wicked funny. But anyway, so we talked about some of the action items were like the idea of kind of creating an app and integrating it into the different programs that I offer. So I have been in like super hardcore market research brainstorming mode, and I have been polling my community like crazy. Like, what types of apps do they already use? What do they like about them? What do they not like about them? I've been doing my own research. I've created like what the ideal app would look like, first version type of thing. And then now I'm just conducting more research so I can just keep fine-tuning it. And so my plan is to kind of keep doing that like over the course of like maybe the next month or so, just to get a really solid idea of what exactly they would want, what would be helpful to them in this app. Having kind of like a free version of it that everybody can join, and then having an upgraded tier. And I'm thinking maybe because part of like my specific niche is the moms really have a hard time juggling business and motherhood. And so I'm thinking like the personal calendar, scheduling your meals, scheduling your cleaning routines, integrating all of that with your Google Calendar, like doing all of that would be the free tier. And then maybe the business side of things could be the upgrade. So that's kind of what I'm thinking and kind of what I'm leaning towards. But yeah, I'm just kind of like in hardcore market research mode right now.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if has anyone not seen that call? Anyone not seen it? Okay. So one of the core takeaways from Michelle's call was that her goal was fucking huge. Her goal, sincerely, was I want to be making 100K months. And she's doing very well. She's already at 5K months and above. That's significant. So what do you do for that? Well, if you're trying to shoot to that level, what she's now doing, which is so cool to hear, is she's looking at like the next 5 to 10 years of her business, right? Because that's what that goal basically illustrates, is how can I scale to that degree? And now you're actually getting in, like something that maybe we don't do a whole lot is ask people what they want. I mean, half the time they have no fucking idea. We don't know what we want.
Yeah.
But there are instances that you can identify what is difficult. They can definitely speak to their pains, right? And you can always assume that they're accurate about their pain. Maybe not at source, but that it exists. So it's your job to ask questions surrounding that and make sure that that nugget is really what the pain is coming from. So what we can learn from what Michelle's talking about is when you start looking at this longer 5-10 year plan, you really start to identify, oh, okay, here's what I should be shooting for, right? Here's my long-term objective. So it kind of like this phase that you're in, Michelle, you're probably finding a few answers about your current state of things too, I would imagine, yeah?
Yeah. A lot of it is like trying to figure out how can I scale more about what I'm doing now, which I think we talked about on the call, which is kind of like rearranging my coaching offer. So I'm still planning on doing that. Some of that is I want to kind of do it with the release of the subscription courses so I can integrate, we talked about that too, the paid group into my free one. So it's all in one spot and we have the subscription courses to get them access to those calls. So I'm thinking I'll probably launch the new rendition once that happens. So it's just kind of a smoother move. And so in the meantime, I'm just kind of like doing a bunch of research. Once that launches, we'll redo kind of the way that we do that, launch that, get super solid and consistent with that, I guess, and then just start working on actually building out the app. So
love that. That is so fucking cool, man. Amazing to see
Well,
how
thank
much
you.
progress you made in a week. That's amazing.
Well, I don't sleep.
Um,
Like this is the benefit of having a ton of kids. I don't sleep. So
Perfect. I'm just on coke 24/7. I'm a
pretty
machine.
much pure adrenaline over here.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. Okay, so what is one nugget that we can unlock for you today?
I think think the biggest thing I'm just trying to get is I feel like I'm clear on kind of like the next kind of steps and the things that I got to work on. But I think I'm wondering, once we come out with some of those things and I'm kind of doing the app and stuff like that, my kids are getting fussy around me, so just ignore all of them fighting in the background. But they're gonna go into full-on fight mode in a second. Give me one moment.
Actually, Michelle, the sound is your sound is cutting out most of it. We kind of don't really hear any of it. You probably hear more of the filtered around me than yours. I love that. Okay, so while Michelle is taking care of this, I'm gonna make a quick mention toward where this is going. Who is not familiar with the Blitz? Because it's almost the end of the month. Gabby, Maria, Karen, Lauren, did you raise your hand? Oh, I love that sweater. That's so cool. Okay, cool. All right, so the point of the Blitz is there is a handful. Oh, great. Okay, Abby's already on it. So Gabby identified. You need a partner in order to play. Does that work? So the way the winner, first of all, I'll get you started with the winner. The winner, and I think we'll do it another month. The winner gets flown out to an IRL, expenses paid, and you spend some time with us at the event. VIP shenanigans are all taken care of. You're just there hanging out there. Might be a big IRL, might be a small IRL. Point is, it's an IRL. It's not in your city. So that's the win for the first place. Everyone's on teams of two, so that means two people get that done. Something that we're going to incorporate more into it is what we did recently with Mo and Michelle, which is I'll just sit down and like work on whatever that next chapter is that you got to work on, either emotional or technical or whatever, and we share that here with the community. So because as we've seen, right, we saw Mo and Michelle's vulnerability, and what do? We learned that we're not alone, and there's other things that are very similar that everyone else is struggling with too. It's good to be reminded of that. So the Blitz is going to start in 1 week, which means I'm going to make a post probably today or tomorrow. We'll see how I feel about going ahead and preparing to sign up, find your partners and stuff like that, because we're going to start that competition. It's measured on 2 different variables. One is the leaderboard, so that's engagement, right? And then the other one is on Wingman, which is now $9 on this. $9 gives you up to like 150 people on the school CRM. And we just activated a 7-day free trial. And then if you guys want to try it, and then if you don't want to, or if you cancel it, let me know. I'll send you your $9. Point is though, in there are the tools that the 100 use, which was Alex and Kirby's thing, project management, the CRM. There's a whole lot of things, and the objective is to make sure that you use those things, because just by doing them, you automatically see growth, compounding growth on what it is that you're doing. So we'll talk more about what those details are, but just assume that there's a whole bucket of things that when you scale the number of things that you do, right? Like it's like sales calls or like sales bookings or like, things like this. If you do more of those and you have a framework around it, it makes everything much easier. So that's what the next competition is. It's you do really good on your business and we reward you for it, which is why anyone I'll say this a million times. The school games, people didn't win because it was money. 90% or more won because it was a fun competition and they wanted to hang out with their buddies. And it just so happens they made money along the way. You have no idea how depressed everyone got at the end of it. They're like, what the fuck do I do now? Dude, go make money. They wanted to hang out with their people. People scoring 10, 30K months. They just wanted to hang out with their people. They just didn't know how to put that in the words. So point is, we're all stupid. We're all trying to figure it out. Do your business better. Make a little bit of money. This is the objective. So that I'll give you guys more of a breakdown later on, but that's what the Blitz is. Michelle, looks like you survived. You ready to give us that nugget?
Yeah, sometimes it's Fight Club over here, but we manage. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of so there were 2 other pieces. So one of the things that I was thinking about too is once I get the new revamped my paid membership, because we do calls every single day on there. So I was a little concerned that bringing it over and having those calls on the calendar in the free group might get a little overwhelming for people. just having so much stuff in there. So that was just one thought, but I don't know, I could be overthinking it. And then the other one was just growing the group, right? Because we kind of talked about like getting people that were more qualified to actually hop in, people that were doing service-based businesses, not like MLMs or things like that that are not good fits. So, and we talked about kind of doing like more referrals. And so I guess my next question is, I feel like my group is like, we get okay engagement. People sent, like the people who are engaged love the group. How do I get more people to make it like, how do I make the group so freaking good that people are telling everybody about it? So I can get more
This is
referrals. I know
such a good
it's
call. No, this is the perfect time to be asking that question. Oh my God. Okay. Does anyone have an answer? Because I have one in mind. It's related to what we're discussing, what we've been discussing so far. I want to hear from Marin, Mindy, and Maria. Marin, you first.
Any nugget? Anything particular? Sorry.
The goal is to. She's asked the question. How do I? Michelle, can you rephrase your question nice and short?
Yeah, how do I make my group so good people want to refer people to it?
On the engagement side.
On the engagement side, yeah.
Oh, make them feel part of it. Inside joke. A few DMs. Ask them about themselves. Along those lines.
I love it. I was thinking inside jokes the whole time. So let's take that and keep it going. Mindy, what is one way that we could get a really juicy inside joke out of what Michelle's got going on? Your
You're
mic is
muted,
up.
Mindy.
We haven't been able to hear you this whole time. So if you've been sharing, we heard none of it.
It's fine. No, bring the inside jokes out, so the outside of the group is actually seeing it and getting a taste of what is happening inside.
So what's one way that you could do that Michelle could do it?
On school or other platforms, or what are we talking?
She said that's the next thing she has to figure out. So probably on school.
Yeah, it's a free school group.
You can enter free. It's private.
It's free. So the people can all join. I'm trying to grow the free group and then I upsell from there.
Yeah, but it's private or it's closed?
It's public.
I'm sorry, what?
It's public. Anybody can join, right? It's for mompreneurs. So like if men join, I boot them pretty quickly because we don't want that. But
same.
Yeah.
No, just let it shine outside so that other people can try to hop on.
Everybody who's joining right now, you're gonna get banned right after this, just so you know.
10 points for Louis. I love that response. So good. And that's funny too, because Mindy's community is also female only. So this is great. It's funny how those end up getting connected. So Mindy, did you have any suggestion for her as far as engagement? Like one particular certain thing that you would yourself say, do this one thing?
Yeah, difficult. I don't really know. If it's already a public group and they can see everything, then it's not a threshold anymore to get inside because you can see it already. So no, I don't have anything there right now.
Okay, no worries. I love that. This is great. We're gonna get down to it. Maria, next. I want to hear what you got to say.
Hi. Well, if the goal is engagement, and I have that problem with my one of my groups as well. I mean, talk to customers. Like when I do the 3 intro questions, my last question is, what are the 3 things you want to learn in here? And that gives me a lot, that helps me with content. But I mean, and make it fun, that's a new thing that I've been doing is like in my science group, the person with the highest leaderboard score gets to pick the next topic, and that helps. So it creates engagement. So yeah, those are my 2 ideas.
Totally. That is a great suggestion. Okay, so the point that I'm getting at.
Oh no, you muted yourself.
Oh no! Sorry about that. Okay, so what if I gave the nugget and it was just silent? I wonder how long we'd go before people started unmuting and being like, "No, Goose, come on." All right. So the point that I believe we're all getting to is we're trying to cultivate an environment that delivers inside jokes. Right? I think that's the cleanest way to give a really pointed example of that. So I would love to open this up, and I'll start calling out some people who are here, especially if your camera off. Oh, Dan, but Daniel's engaged. He's probably just at work or something. We'll figure it out. I'm going to start calling some people out here, but I want to hear from the whole group. Dan, we can start with you. What is one way that you could foster a really good place to grow inside joke?
Did you call me? I just have here breakfast room noise. I wasn't sure. Okay. Well, the inside jokes, I would say my community might be a little bit different because it's fun but not fun, if that makes sense. So I make some things really hard for people, and you need to earn a little thing. What also Michelle gives me, I fully agree with Mindy, was like that if it's public, the mysterious is kind of not there. And but come back to that later. But like for the inside jokes, I do have a theme that is pirating and treasure hunt, finding your goal and gold at the end. So we do have a kind of a little language thing going on that I started like using old English thingies, pirate language, seeker, whatsoever. And this actually people take over, and that's kind of nice. So so it's so even so far, like I just recently made a post like, please can you help me to keep that thing alive while I'm traveling? And the first thing one person was posting was like, time for community. And he's like, so they take it serious in a fun way, and dare more to play with it. And in that serious play thing, the whole topic, what in my case is business development, is just a little differently framed. And yes, business is an adventure if you see so. And you have a travel ahead of you that you don't know where it really goes and through which dark jungle it will lead you. And maybe you get lost in between what is pretty much a treasure hunt.
So that was a great example. So this is something that I call the theme.
Mm-hmm.
The theme of your community is something that, I mean, that is a great, really, I love that example you brought up. So pirates, right? When you hang out with Diana, you don't necessarily assume pirates is the theme of the stuff she does, right? And that's the point. It doesn't have to be. It's just something that you're into. And especially if it's not directly related, well, then awesome, people are into it. So if you do not have a theme based around what you're doing, there's a good likelihood that you're still probably trying to find where your inside jokes are housed. So you don't have a wall around which they can hang out. It makes it a little bit challenging. So I think that's one of the first things that I would recommend for you, Michelle, is take a good look at your theme. I am starting to see one, right? It looks like I'm playing a Pokemon game with your like icons or something like this. And your kids love Pokemon, and I am completely biased towards that theme in general. But whatever you end up choosing, if you throw something in there, I guarantee you they'll start doing it. Maybe it's around children's.
I have kind of like a storybook kind of theme in there, so very fairy tale storybook type of a thing. So that's kind of the vibe that's in there so far, and I like it. Because also like we're all moms, so we're very intimately understanding of like a lot of the storybook stuff because our kids are in it, right? So we kind of have that vibe going on. And it's funny because just like listening to you guys, it's like giving me some ideas of just like, as moms, there's so many inside jokes that we could do. And just being able to like get that real vulnerable. You guys have me thinking though, because I have it on public, and I did that for like, I guess, SEO purposes. Like it would just be easier for people to find the group. It might show up in search engines, stuff like that. But now I'm wondering if if that's deterring people from wanting to be vulnerable in it. If everybody can come in and see everything, especially for a topic like this where people are being vulnerable about stuff. I'm wondering if that, I don't know, what do you guys think?
100%. So especially if you want to have more vulnerable stuff or more private and like literally private things. And what you just mentioned with the storybook, like really low hanging fruit for having that storybook thingy is you can always ask like a meta question, like what story would that tell? If you do that, what story would that tell? That is just like phrase it however you want to. If you bring in not only like the visual theme, but if you make the theme about the analogy and the meta stories behind, because like literally like that was the reason for my treasure hunting. I truly believe business endeavor is kind of a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
So, and it's like that it turned into a little bit piratey thing that was kind of like, I want to have the adventurous thing, but yes, with the treasure hunt map, then you have the pirate flag and then it kind of, just fall into that thing. And yes, I'm not looking like a pirate, but I'm actually like a pathfinder and I'm very adventurous on finding pathways. And there are also like things like, like that treasure map, that is yours alone. Because like if everyone uses it, the only thing they will find is an empty box with nothing in it, because everyone like that treasure is stolen already. What's also very true for like how I see business, that it's not following a blueprint that everyone can follow to come to the exact same goal, because that treasure is taken. So yes, it could be like you find on the way other really valuable things. So when back to your storybook, it's like, what is the story that I can tell? What is the story I want to tell? What is the story I want my children to tell forward? There's so much storytelling tenderness in that thing. And I dare say, if you emphasize that a little and invite that to sharing the stories, that makes it so my own journey, and so me as a mom and how I see myself and all the struggles. That is powerful on the one hand side, but I would not love to see that in a public space.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I love that. That's a really cool topic here. Oh goodness. I never get one sleeve, so we may expect 20 more of these. But thank you, Gabby. We may have. I have some recommendations, but it may not be popular. I can tell you based on the data, though, it's pretty significant. When you are finding what your niche is, for example, what kind of business thing you're going to do, if it doesn't exist in the market, it either means the most likely possibility is that it's a bad idea. The alternative is that no one has thought about it and it's going to be an absolute home run, right? So it's hard to say. A lot of times it's one more than the other. Why that's important is because if it's really something that someone hasn't hacked yet, it probably means it's really hard to do. There's something in the way there. So if your goal, let's take your example, Michelle, is to get moms to be vulnerable in order to encourage their sharing. Well, I can tell you what the ideal top shelf, most welcoming community would be. It would be a group of moms talking about periods, about children, about births, about all these things in a public group. Because if I'm a mom and I'm looking for a place to go and I see these guys talking publicly, shit, am I engaged? I am ready to go. Now, does that happen overnight? No. Does it get complicated if you make it private and then public later? Potentially. My attitude has always been, if there is the likelihood for it to be too vulnerable, like a category of people that don't usually share openly about this stuff, then perfect. You found one of those rare little nuggets. That's a good idea, not something that people just haven't stepped into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I'm getting is to be more vulnerable as well in what I'm posting. because I think a lot of what I've been doing is like engagement stuff, like asking them lots of questions, getting people to like answer and talk about themselves. But I haven't really asked them questions that are a little bit more vulnerable. Those kind of end up in the DMs because like, if I don't feel comfortable saying it out there with them, why would they feel comfortable? And so that makes a lot of sense. So I think a lot of it too is just like setting the example that we want to see in our group.
That's right. That's exactly right. So the other way to frame it is if you don't show that vulnerability, they will not show that vulnerability.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up to you to craft that.
Yeah. And
So
you can't have culture without vulnerability.
you cannot. None of the inside jokes really hit, right? Without that. It all depends on what you want to do, where you're trying to go with it. But certainly you can usually assume, you take a look at the reason why there's not usually vulnerability there. If the reason is shame or nervousness or embarrassment, great. There is no practical reason. In fact, it's a loss to the community to be able to not share, to not be able to share. But if it's something like, you've got a group around people that were rehoused by the CIA, okay, well, maybe it's not the best thing to share like what's going on there, right?
Makes sense.
But yeah, Gabby, it sounds like you got something to say here. I would love to hear your thoughts really quickly on this.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to share. I was just like, I just got a light bulb moment, and I've actually been talking a little bit more about this on my social media, and it's been like one light bulb after another, and it surprises me because sometimes, actually, to be vulnerable here, most of my breakthroughs are from the crying and the sadness and like the deep shame and guilt and just life. But like I felt like I have been accidentally running from my superpower, because my whole thing, and I asked like people on my Instagram, I was like, when you think of Gabby, like what do you think of? And a lot of them said like light and good energy and vulnerability and like some of these things, and I was like so flattered, but it's like I was running from that for like a while, because I was like, oh, you're not supposed to speak up, you're not supposed to be heard, you're not supposed to be seen. But like I want to talk about the taboo shit. Like I have my mic, yes, I have my lighting right now, but every day I try to show up like messy hair, no makeup, no glasses, just like fucking hi, it's me. Guess what I just did? I had a full-blown fucking panic attack, but guess what I did? I grounded myself and I moved through it. Like to show up in balanced, like that's the superpower. Like to be vulnerable enough to share your story, to be vulnerable enough to have someone not agree with that version of you is fucking terrifying. And I have been running from it for so long, but it feels like now I've finally started to be like, okay, let's take this seriously. So I have like a time off coming up where I'm like 2 of those days of my 7 days of just doing nothing and allowing myself to be without guilt is going back into my free community and being like, let's really let Gabby like shine in the way that I want to do. And it, like you said, if it's something that someone hasn't done it, it's probably really hard. To be authentic and to be vulnerable are the hardest fucking things I've ever done in my life. And so I do it on the daily, and it's just become my world. And I guess I didn't realize that I'm so close to it that like, hello, you're over here like trying to be like, join other people's teams and build their dreams, which granted it's fine, and to take the knowledge and to store those golden nuggies and then make them your own, of course. But it's like I have been truly running from that side of me, and I'm done. Like fuck that noise. I just want to show up and be me and encourage others to be me too. Like take pictures of your messy office. Like I got shit on the floor, like I haven't cleaned it yet today. Does it mean it's never gonna get cleaned? No. Does it mean I'm a normal human being who hasn't cleaned her shit? Yeah. So it's like I've been running from it for so long, and I just like, wow. Like, oops.
Amazing. It can happen. Maren, hit us.
Yeah, the messy floor. I'm the dog trainer whose dog ran at a person and barked the other day. So the real moments. And I'm going to try and call those the bad moment would be like the butt slide moment. And then the good moments are the waggy moments. So it's kind of, and then what's your doggy style today? So I'm trying to find a way to bring those together.
I love that.
Without too many visuals.
Dude, that should be on your about
is the
page.
one.
I want to see a challenge that's called "What's Your Doggy Style?" That would be so sick.
Yeah, okay. You probably will, because it's been feeling pretty normal. It's the kind of way I act. So I mean, no, it's the kind of thing I talk about, not what it
I love that. Okay, excellent. Louis, hit us, man.
Oh, similar to what Gabby said, except I feel like I'm cock blocking myself. I've done all these things. I just feel like I have to have it all perfect. And then, ironically, I met Ryan Dadland at Costco like a month ago, and he said, "Just come as you are." And I'm like, "Well, I feel like I gotta have it more perfect, like more momentum." And the more days that go by, I feel like the more excuses I have, and I need to go like full retard, just say fuck it, and just full send it. And I just yeah.
Oh yeah.
How what's your take on that? Like I could full send it right now, or I could just wait a little longer, have a couple things, and like work on my business, work in another business I'm trying to launch. And it's just a lot. So yeah, what's your take?
I'll give you my take, and then I'll give you some homework. For me, personally, and everything that I've seen, here's the practical answer. It only happens when you go all in. So don't go all in unless you really want it. What that really boils down to is, are you actually prepared for it right now? And by prepared, I mean, like, do you want it? If you want it, if you like really want it, then you will have already started. So the question that you really, really, really should be asking is, what is it that hasn't convinced you that that's the life that you want yet? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I
So you
feel
want to
like
really evaluate that.
yeah, like just a more free mental space. Like I have some things that are just kind of like pressing, and I feel like I gotta knock those out first, and then once that's taken care of, then I have like the energy, like kind of like the roaring lions, like where it just burst out and just run after the hyena.
Make sure that that's your actual answer, because if that is, then the bad news is there's always going to be stuff, no matter it doesn't go away. So either you're coming up with an excuse for yourself, or you're not committed to the goal that you claim you want. Those are the only two possibilities. So you just have to decide which of those things there are, and depending on what you decide, you either continue to live where you are, which means you're happier in this place that you know than this more interesting place that you don't know, or the opposite. But that's why we always say the whole build the plane while you're flying. You literally will not know until you're flying the plane, because now you have the pressure. The best way that I have explained it actually recently, because it's come up a lot, you're not alone on this one by a far margin, is when you actually decide that, I'll put it this way. If you have a plan B, then you haven't committed to actually wanting that. That's how it is. Sam calls it burning the ships.
Right.
Because both practically and esoterically, I may say, the universe will not deliver things to you until you have said, I'm ready to let go of everything in order to go all in on this. There's always going to be a certain degree of pain that you're going to have to do. So either it's going to happen to you, or you have to select your pain. Always end up being like that.
Gotcha. And my last excuse that I need for you to help shooting down is like imposter mode. Like I haven't made it in this part of my life where I'm in the come up, right? Therefore, I don't feel like I could charge money to have people in the group.
Beautiful. Great question. Everyone has it. Okay. This is the biggest answer that I ever got that like sealed it for me. Let me ask you this. Does a person who intends not to deliver ask themselves that question?
Yeah, probably.
Well, probably not. If you're
I'm like it's yeah.
My point in saying that is the fact that someone asks that question of themselves means that they are caring. So it means that you have an investment in there. So here's the answer I have to you. That part is answered. You've already asked that question of yourself. It means you give a shit. Great. You can move on to the next phase. The next phase is, well, In actuality, as long as you care, right? The best teachers are usually the people that struggle with the thing themselves the most.
Right.
The reason is largely because they spend the most time with that problem. And if they can see it, I mean, this happens all the time. If they can see it in someone else, you're probably a lot more likely to be able to solve it for them than you are for yourself. This is just another one of those nature of the universe things. So that's why we hang out in communities. That's another big reason, because I can help you, but I can't help myself. But you can help me, but you can't help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kind of exchange is sort of just, it's so baked in that you just have to identify those two things with yourself. Does that feel clear?
Yeah, that resonates. Yeah, I care too much, I feel, and I want to make sure I'm giving the value, they're paying money, and I want to over deliver, under promise and over deliver.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me reframe it for you. If you care too much, then it is your responsibility to deliver value to people that would otherwise not receive it if you can't figure out your shit.
Gotcha.
Did everyone get that? Like, your own self-development will be required in order for you to change lives around you. And until you do that, they're lost looking for another soul that's as special as you. That's the point. So when you look at it in that way, it kind of is your responsibility to get your shit together and decide what it is that you're trying to deliver. Because if you spend another day just kind of like clustering your head, that is one more day that person is a little bit further from their answer.
Gotcha. Thank you for the answer. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Louis, I love the vulnerability, man. That was great. 100%. Love that one. I think, so here's your homework. I would love for you to write down, make a post in Goose Fight today. Write down the thing that you are getting rid of. You've decided one thing that you're getting rid of and one thing that you're doing. And then just see what we say. We might just make fun of you. Or we might be like, hey, I had to do that too. Either could happen. Who's to say?
Like getting rid of what? Like my excuse or like excuses or like?
It's up to you. You have to get rid of one thing and add one goal to your list. It could be time related. It could be. You have full reign on that one, but you have to get rid of one thing and add one thing.
Gotcha.
That sound good? Beautiful. Okay. All right. Lovely. Well, we got 3 minutes here, so I'm going to wrap up in the end with giving everyone their homework. You've got two things that I need you to do. The first one is, remember, I want to hear your inside joke. You can put it on a comment. You can make your own post on it, whatever. I don't want you to throw it. I will post after this call inside jokes. So if you think it's something that you're still trying to figure out, make it its own post. But if it's something you just want to share, you're like, this is something that's working, put it in the comment, right? Anywhere. It doesn't really matter. So don't let indecision stop you. So, oh, perfect. Rosita, comment on Rosita's post. She's going to be asking about it. I'll pin it right after this. And if you don't have one, ask for some help and give us a little bit of work a little bit of wiggle room. What's one thing that your group is about? What's the ICP, stuff like that. The best inside jokes that I see, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe like $100? We'll give them $100. How does that sound? Maybe I'll just start doing that sometimes. That can be cool. Like inside jokes make money. That'd be fucking sick. Okay, so someone gets $100. Whoever gets the best one, we'll do like a vote or something, or I'll just decide. If it's hilarious, I'll just make the decision. So then the next thing is, and I will post about this one. Everyone has about a week now to prepare for the Blitz. So you're going to get a team member and just familiarize yourself with Wingman. We've got videos all over the place, so take a look at it. Basically, it's going to be the tool that helps you. If your objective is to grow in school, this is the thing you're going to do. So I'll give you guys more details about it soon. But in the meantime, you are all fabulous. I love how vulnerable you've been getting lately. I hope this has been tremendously helpful. It is so much fun for me. I'm going to go hang out at the Coliseum. I'm fucking stoked. All right. I love you guys. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.